The daily spirituality and haiku at 2 will move to later on in the hour because rarely can we say we have a bigger name on the other line. But today we do. Dodger reliever Alex Vesia joins the show. We're excited to have you, Alex. We've wanted to talk to you, and welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be on.
Okay, so much to get into. I want to start with this. You grew up in Alpine, right, in the San Diego County Mountains. That's like 15,000 people. What's it like living or growing up in a town of 15,000?
Small town. Kind of everybody knows everybody, and it's a great community out there.
All right, man. So you played Little League. You said you hung around, you camped, you do all those things. When you were growing up, what team was your team? Who were you a fan of?
My dad's a big New York Yankee fan, so he that was something that he kind of embraced and put on me as early age. I always looked up to like Derek Jeter as a role model.
You gotta go as your dads go. My dad was a big Giants fan, Fred.
Really?
So,
there you go.
Yeah. Even though I wanted to like the Dodgers, he was a big Giants fan, so I had to break ties from him eventually as I got older. So I understand where you're coming from, Alex.
Yeah, and then as I got older, and I was playing the sport, I kind of felt myself gravitate towards specific players. You know what I mean? I really liked CC Sabathia when he was coming up with Cleveland, and like David Price and Andy Pettit. So I kind of felt that as I got older, I never really had like a favorite team. It was more of like a favorite player or just like I kind of just love the game. So.
No, I hear you. Especially as you get older, you start playing. You may have teams that you like, but you really identify with players, and I did the same thing.
Yeah.
But you mentioned David Price. Now that you're on the same team with him, what's that been like? Yeah. What's the interaction with David Price been like for you?
It's been really good. I had to. My first month, I felt like I was a little bit shy. I didn't want to step on anybody's toes or get in the way. But when I got back up here the second time, I felt a lot more comfortable. And the interactions I've had with Bueller and Kershaw and David Price, I'm very thankful that I get to have the conversations that I've had, and I definitely feel like they've contributed to my success, out on the mound these last couple weeks. So it's been really good. I've been having a lot of fun.
Alex Vesia of the Dodgers is with us. Fred Roggin and Rodney Pete on AM 570 LA Sports. You're pitching in Miami, and then you find out you were traded to the Dodgers. What were your initial thoughts?
Yes!
I was speechless, man. So I was already out there because it was right before spring training. So I wanted to get out there and kind of get the coaches and myself on the same page. And I threw a bullpen the day before. I was talking with the coaches the day of, and I go back to my apartment where I was staying. And an hour later, I got a phone call from one of our head scouts that was in the Miami Marlins organization, and he's like, "Hey, I just want to let you know that you got traded." And I was like, "What are you talking about? I just got traded." And they're like, "Oh yeah, you got traded to the Los Angeles Dodgers." I was like, "What?" I had a smile, man. I was like, "Wow, this is crazy." I couldn't believe it. I called my agent, and he couldn't believe it. And then I called my mom, and she was at Costco shopping, and I think she completely forgot what she was shopping for at Costco. And then I called my dad, and he couldn't believe it. He was just like, "Hey, I'll see you in a couple weeks in Arizona." And sure enough, I got out to Arizona, and my mom and dad and my girlfriend were out there for our first game, and I think that's the coolest thing is that I'm back on the West Coast, and my parents and girlfriend get to come up to the games pretty much every weekend, and I definitely missed that when I was over with Miami, so.
Yeah, I want to stay with that because I think about that call, and that call could have gone a different direction. They could have said, "We're sending you to Baltimore."
I mean, honestly, I wasn't even in the mindset that I was going to get traded. You know, there was no trade talks. There was nothing on social media. So, I mean, it was really blindsided to me. I probably would have had the same reaction if it was, any other team, just because it was so out of the blue. You know what I mean? But being it was the Dodgers, and I know how amazing that their organization has been. I just, I was ecstatic because I knew that it was going to take my game to the next level.
So what happened? All right, you got the call. You talked to your agent. You talked to your folks. You told your girlfriend. When did the Dodgers contact you? Who was it, and what did they say?
I believe it was the first person that called me was Brandon Gomes, and he had basically, congratulated me, and he was looking forward to getting me back out to Arizona, because it was funny. I just flew all the way over to Florida. Now I got to fly all the way back, and he just said let it sink in and kind of come ready for spring training. So it was cool. It was a great conversation.
And when you got to Arizona, spring training is underway. Do they tell you at all, our plan for you is X, we expect this from you, this is what we want to do with you, or are you just there now and fighting for a job?
It was a little bit of both, because, when you go to a new organization, you kind of have to get a feel for everybody. I was meeting so many new people, remembering new names, and the first couple weeks it was definitely kind of just in that introduction phase, and then I think it was after my second or third outing during spring training, Connor McGinnis, he sat me down and had all these different comparison side by side of my mechanics. And that's when we really dug deep into my mechanics and how the body works and stuff like that. And it's taken me a little bit to kind of get all those mechanical changes down, but they're definitely working for sure. And that's I've never hit 97 in my life until the last couple outings, so something's working, right?
Yeah, definitely. I saw you hit it a couple times the other night, man. Yeah. I was like, ooh, he popping it at 97. I love it. Hey, so you talked about your parents and your girlfriend being able to see you play, man. Talk about that a little bit more, because I know how special that's got to be, being able, like you said, on the East Coast, and then getting that call, coming to play for the Dodgers. They say, I'll meet you in Arizona. They meet you for spring training. They're there, but now they get to see you in Dodger Stadium, man. I want to talk about that first, that experience of playing in Dodger Stadium with your family there.
Yeah, that's been amazing. We the first 3 or 4 outings I had, we only had half capacity, right? And then once it fully got opened up, my dad was like, "Man, how do you do it? You got 50,000 screaming every night, and you have to channel all that energy and stay focused, locked in on either Barnes or Smith's glove. It's just it's something that's I'm a lot more comfortable with, and I've embraced it, and I mean, man, I really do enjoy it, and then being able to look up into the stands, and I know pretty much where my parents and girlfriend are going to sit every night, so I can I spot them. I try to acknowledge them to make sure that they know that I know where they're at. So, because there's so many fans, and it's crazy. It's a fun time. I love it.
Just think about that, man. You had a pitching in front of 3,300 in Miami as opposed to 50,000 in Dodger Stadium. It's the dramatic difference.
Yeah, I mean, even you can go even further than that, man. I went to a Division II school where we had 20 people in the stands, and I'm trying. You're pitching then, up at Cal State East Bay, Division II school, and now I'm pitching for the Dodgers where there's 50,000. I got to pinch myself sometimes, but I'm here. It's great, man.
Alex Vesia is our guest. Okay, people say when they come to the Dodgers, they can overload you with information. And sometimes it's hard to get your bearings because they tell you so much and they want you to be so good and they try to work with you on everything. What was that like for you?
I honestly told him to give me it all. I said, might as well do it, at least during spring training. I told him I want all the information, and we can talk about it all. And then, through spring training, I was able to kind of filter things I didn't like, things I did like, and kind of go from there. But I've always been, on the hunt for more information, more data, more analytic stuff, because when I grew up and everything, I didn't have any of that stuff, and now going to the Dodgers where they have it all, and then they can also explain it to me and, give me a good outlook on it, man. I was all in, so that was cool.
That's great, man. Alex, you mentioned you went to a small college, and talk about how much that helped you as opposed to, like a lot of guys come straight out of high school. How much the college experience helped you in your development?
Oh, yeah. College was the best thing that I've ever, that decision. And honestly, it was going to college, right? My parents did a great job with my upbringing and everything, but at one point, it's like, hey, I need to start doing this on my own, and I definitely think that going up to college, I got to make decisions on my own, learn lessons, and that was a huge thing. And then also going to a college where I knew I was going to pitch, I think that was a huge thing. My freshman year, I had 70 innings, and I learned so much each and every start. I was a starter then, so I started all 4 years at East Bay, and then in pro balls when I turned into a reliever. But yeah, definitely college for me was a very, very key decision, because I didn't throw hard in high school. I might have topped out at 84 miles an hour. I was a scrawny kid who, I could barely squat the bar. I wasn't very strong, and over those 4 years, I learned how to work out, and definitely all the coaches at East Bay, helped me become the pitcher that I am now. And, I felt like it has a really good foundation. It added a really good foundation for me. So,
do you remember your first conversation with Dave Roberts?
Yeah, we walked in, and he sat me down, and we started talking about San Diego. And that was a pretty cool conversation. And same with Mark Pryor. We were all in the same room together, and they were asking me about my pitches and what I like, what I don't like, and they were just trying to get a feel for me. And I was trying to get the kind of what they wanted out of me. So yeah, it was cool.
And go ahead, Rodney. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's got to be cool right now. You obviously in the playoff hunt, couple 2.5 games back from the Giants, chasing them, but also playing this series in San Diego's got to be special for you too. And I want you to talk about that, but I also want to know, did you get any Tapatios burritos for the fellas while you guys are down there?
Oh yeah. Come on, that was the first place I went. I had to get me some Tapatios, man. We actually we had the off day on Monday, so I drove down after the game on Sunday, and I spent the day at my house in San Diego, and we actually in Alpine, and we celebrated my grandpa's 81st birthday, and we all got Tapatios and stuff, and that was super cool because that's the first time our family's all been together since the quarantine, and so it was super special, and then also, being able to look up in the stands then the next day, and I'm pitching, and I had probably 50 people out in the stands last night throwing, so that was cool.
You talk about looking up into the stands and you're pitching. When they tell you, okay, get loose, what's running through your mind? Because you're actually in pretty high leverage situations now. What are you thinking as you're loosening up, you're coming onto the field, and then you stand on the mound?
Yeah, so basically it starts from my routine is, I do my bands, I get stretched out in the bullpen, and, I usually have a good feeling of whose name's going to be called, right? And, once I get warmed up, I try to focus on what 3 batters that I'm going to face, and trying to kind of play it through my head on what pitch I want to throw, or if I get in certain counts and if there's runners on, right? So like last night, I came in a clean inning, but the last week I came in with runners on first and third. So it's all about the situation and running out on the field. That's always, I try to keep my heart rate down, and I just try to tell myself to breathe, because it's kind of a long jog from center field into the mound.
Yeah.
There's a couple of times where I forget to breathe, and it's like I'm all out of breath, and it just goes downhill from there. So,
hey, can I tell you something? At least in our house, and I'm sure all Dodger fans, man, we love watching you. We just love it. And the thing I take away from it is you are so enthusiastic and so pumped when that inning ends. Have you always been that way?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. There's a funny story that my buddy, actually, he could tell it's way better, but I can tell it from my point of view. But it was my first outing outside of the GCL. So I got called up to Batavia, which was the short season A-ball in 2018. And it was the first time that I had pitched under the lights. Right, in college, I never really did that. We always played games during the day, so it was my first time performing underneath the lights, and we were losing. It was like 7-1 or 7-3 or whatever, right? So I come into I think it was 5th, 6th inning, and I get out of the inning, and I was so pumped. I give my manager a fist bump, and like I did what I usually do, right? And everyone's like, dude, we're losing 8-1. Like, chill out. And it's just, that's what I do, and I've had to, I do respectfully, with the score and everything like that, obviously if we're losing or things like that, like it won't be as much. I will definitely bottle that in, but like, when we're winning, I mean, all bets are off, we're winning, and yeah, that's me. I'm just being myself. So
I love that. I love that. To keep being yourself, man. And I'm wondering, when you're out there sometimes, when you got it going, and like you said, you're a reliever now. But does that starter mentality get back into you? Like, man, I can go another inning, man. I need one more. Why are you taking me out now? Let me go back in there. I'm feeling it right now. Do you ever get that feeling?
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely times where especially with like a super short inning where it's like, man, I want to get back out there, but I know my role. I know that, to help the team, I need to be hot again the next day. So I definitely, I'm playing that happy medium of, I would love to go back out there, but that's not what we need. We need, me hot and ready to go again the next night. So
how many days in a row do you think you could go?
I mean, I went 3 days in a row. Was a couple weeks ago. I went 3 days in a row, and that was good. My body's bounced back actually pretty well from that. I don't know about 4 or 5 days. I've never done that, so I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But yeah, I definitely three in a row is good. Back to back 2 days. That's pretty easy. My body and arm bounced back fairly well from that. So,
all right, listen, we appreciate you doing this. We really wanted to get you on the show. We love watching you, man.
I love it.
We love watching you. You're so much fun to watch.
That.
You're so enthusiastic. Congratulations on your success.
And come back on.
Yeah, it touches our
Thank
heart
you.
that you're as close as you are to your parents. Your girlfriend gets to see a pitch. Keep it going, man, okay?
Thank you. Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys having me on. And shoot, maybe in a month or so when we're in playoffs or something, I can come back on and talk some playoff baseball.
Book it. You're in. Appreciate it, Alex. Thanks.
Very cool. All right, you guys have a great day.
You too.
You guys have a great day.